Well, the Russian President Vladimir Putin will not attend next month's summit of BRICS leaders in Johannesburg, avoiding the risk of arrest on a warrant from the International Criminal Court for alleged war crimes. Bloomberg's Jennifer Zabasajja joins me now. So much has been made of this in the media, Jen, hasn't it, over the past number of weeks? What more do we know? He's not physically going to turn up.
Right, that's right, Manus. I was actually just looking at the front page of a paper, and it says, Pretoria solves its Putin headache. And I think that's a really good description of what this has been. It's been a real dilemma for this country for the past few months since that arrest warrant was issued back in March. But what we know at this point in time is that the presidency has decided that this was not a difficult decision and that Vladimir Putin will instead attend via video conference, Russia instead opting to send Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov in his place. And at this point in time, what we know is that the rest of the BRICS leaders will be in attendance. But speaking from the presidency spokesperson on Wednesday, they said it wasn't a difficult decision. It was made because of South Africa's obligation to hold up international law and also a mutual agreement between all of the members, especially because this is the first summit in person since the COVID pandemic. And as you mentioned, this has been a dilemma for this country for a number of months, and namely, or specifically, it was because of the relationship that South Africa has with the West and what this could potentially do to that. And the interesting point about this is that we actually did hear from the U.S. on Wednesday, speaking specifically after this decision came out, saying that this is just showing that Putin is a pariah and not able to leave his country. And so, yep, this was the decision that we were all waiting for quite a while.
And tell us, yesterday's South Africa inflation data, it showed us coming back towards the corridor. How much is that going to go into the central bank? It must play a pivotal role in the central bank thinking today.
It's playing a pivotal role, Manus, but there's still, the jury is still out on what the central bank is actually going to do. So the good news, as you mentioned, the number did come down from May. So May, the CPI number was at 6.3%. What we saw in June is that it came down into the target range between 3 and 6% to 5.4%. That is the lowest inflation number that we've seen here in South Africa in 20 months. That is significant. The bad news, the not so great news for consumers is that South African consumers are still very much feeling the pinch of higher costs month on month. And the even more concerning news by economists this morning that they're talking is that in the long term, over the next few years, inflation is still looking to be a little bit stickier than they had anticipated. And so although there are some analysts who don't expect the SARB to raise rates today, largely the consensus is that the South African Reserve Bank is still going to have to raise rates just to ensure that they have inflation under control.